Welcome back to Women Talk Construction. I'm Christy Powell, and I'm here with Angela Gardner, my co-host. And today we have a special guest on that honestly, I can tell you that the day I met her, we both knew, I think, that we were going to be lifetime friends. And we have been. She's making a huge impact in the industry. She's making a huge impact for women, literally anything that she steps into and she decides she wants to do. She's going to make an impact in a way that is bigger and brighter than most. So we are so anxious and so happy to introduce to you Libby Mendiratta. This will be the second time she's been on our podcast, but not the second time we've seen her because we try to see her every time we can. She's in DC. She is the NAWIC president now, and she is the EVP for Frisco Woodline. It is a company or a family-owned business, and her and her brother run it, and their father founded it. So she's got quite the story. She's been in the industry a long time, and we can't wait to hear from her today to talk about what she's doing at NAWIC. She's got an incredible camp that she's putting on, and she's teaching a lot of young women about the construction industry, which all of you that listen to us know that that is near and dear to our hearts. So welcome, Libby. Thank you so much for being here. We are so thankful that you're here. We're thankful that we know you. And we want to hear just a little bit more about you quickly, but our audience knows that they can go to our website and learn all the things about you and everything that you do. So tell us briefly just a little bit about what's going on and how that camp's going.
Sure. Thank you so much. First of all, I am so honored to be back with my dear friends. As you said, it's always a great time when we see each other. And I think from the time you said, can you come back on? It's literally been about 5 days. Here we are recording the podcast because
So great.
I will fit you into any part of my schedule whenever I can. And I just love and adore you guys and what you guys are, what you're accomplishing with Women Talk Construction as well. So thank you again for having me. Just a little bit about myself. Yes, I'm the co-owner and EVP of Frisco Woodline. We're a construction supply company in the DMV area. My father took over the company some 40-something years ago, but the company has been around for 70 years. And in the last 2 years, I've stepped into leadership for our local chapter, the National Association of Women in Construction, the DC Chapter. And so I have led a board member team of 10. We had 10 board members the first year and 12 the second year. I wasn't supposed to come back for a second year, but we saw so much momentum and growth in that first year with the board members, and we all said, hey, if we're willing to do it again, let's all come back. So it's been a journey, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about all of it.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, it's amazing. If you're not following Libby on LinkedIn and Instagram, because her Instagram's pretty amazing, you should. I definitely would highly recommend it.
You guys are sweet. Thank you so much.
Even Libby's been to Greenville to see us. So
yes, she has.
Yeah, and talk at some events. So maybe that might be in the future as well.
Yeah, what an excellent speaker.
No. So Libby, with over 25 years of experience in driving growth across the built environment, you founded this camp at NAWIC, a free hands-on construction and STEM camp for girls.
Yes.
What has the immediate impact of this camp shown you about how we can build a stronger future workforce? And how do you use your personal superpower to advocate for young women?
Oh man, I think the biggest thing would be if you guys could come to one of the days of camp, which actually sounds like a great idea to me.
It does. Really.
Maybe we could
live podcast.
Yes, shoot a live podcast from there. Oh, my wheels are already turning. See, okay. You would. I think the impact sometimes is immediate. You could see the wheels turning and these girls, and the things that they get excited about, things that they've never been introduced to before. They're very interested, as are most kids probably at this age. How much do people make in the built environment, from project managers to the tradespeople to CEOs, and what it takes to get to those levels, and what it takes? Is a college path right for you, or is going to trade school right for you? We definitely emphasize that neither one of those paths is better than the other. It's just what fits you. It fits your family, fits your budget, fits, how you see your life in the next 5 years. Are you the type of learner that likes to work with your hands and likes on the job training, or is something like going through, getting an engineering degree, architectural degree, does that speak more to how you learn and how you are as a student and how you want to contribute? Both of those paths are excellent. So I think the immediate impact has honestly just been excitement. If you see these girls
Mhm.
when they're getting their hands dirty and patching some masonry work, we just did that this past week. They come to me and they show me their white hands, and they got dirt all
Aw.
over their face and their pants, and they're just so excited about it. And something that I think I'm so, so proud of and excited about is we have a camper who was with us for 3 years, and she's about 14. I think she's 14 years old, and she wrote a book about construction. It's called Wonder
Oh
Shop
my
of
gosh.
Wonders, available on Amazon. And it's this young camper who was so super bright, and she said she wants to go into architecture or engineering of some sort. But she was inspired by what she learned at camp to actually, author a book about it. And so,
Wow.
we're shaping these girls well beyond a 4-day camp that they experience. So some of them
Yeah.
have come back more than once, but even within the 4 days, man, you should
It's a
just see the
lifetime
excitement.
experience,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
they may not know it while they're there the first time, but it will shape them for the
Hmm.
rest of their life, even if
Absolutely.
they don't go into construction. You've given them
Mhm.
confidence, you've given them the ability to think outside of themselves, being at these camps, even just being there with women who care about them and want them to see other options makes for a better life for them. There are people in their corner rooting for them, right?
That's Yep.
Not just their mom and dad. I
Yep.
think that's huge for students. So
And that's
that's
actually what
awesome.
we yep, to your point, that's actually what we stress from the very first day. We
Mhm.
say, this is a week of mentorship and networking. If you learn that now, you are already ahead of the game.
Yes,
I
Mm.
even talked to them about networking with each other as campers, and I said, "Hey, you never know whose
Mhm.
parent is in a company that might give you an internship that you need your junior year of high school
exactly.
or in college." And, just the connections that you make at camp are worth everything, and connect with all of the presenters, a lot of them female, some
Mhm.
definitely some allies and males who have come, to share their equipment and share their demonstrations. So we had a mix of male and females all throughout the week. But just to seeing the girls who they connect with was really, really awesome. I had Lydia Miller, who was a past guest of yours. She spoke to the girls about empowerment and leadership and
I
what it
bet
means
that
to
was
get
so great.
uncomfortable. And then Miller Brothers had a stand at our job fair, and she already told me this young girl wrote her a really, really sweet note last night, after she had
Aw.
presented. And so, it's these little stories that we hear that I feel that the impact and reach of this camp is so far beyond even what I know. And I hope that it comes full circle for many of these girls somewhere along the way.
Yeah, so I'm gonna shift it a little bit. That's very exciting, and we know that's where our heart lives, right? What we just talked about. It's kinda what we do and why we do what we do every single day, and not everybody feels that way. So I think it's important if you're listening today and you have an inkling that you might wanna help somebody somewhere,
Mhm.
just do it. There's not enough of us out there making an impact on these kids. It doesn't matter if they're female kids
No.
or they're male kids. There's not
Yes.
enough people out there making an impact that's gonna last for the rest of their life, and you don't have to do that much. It's not a lot. People think, "Oh, I can't be a
Mhm.
mentor." It's not a lot. You show up. You have conversations. You create an opportunity for them to meet other people, and
Mhm.
you've already done more for them than some of these kids have seen in their entire lifetime. So please reach out, and thank you, Libby, for just sharing all of that. One of the things that I do want to shift to, though, because I think this is really important in the nonprofit world, right? NAWIC is a nonprofit.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And for those leaders that are listening out there that may be in the profit world, I think this is really important to mention and to talk through. Um, what does it take to keep a volunteer board
Mhm.
motivated, united, and driving a camp like this forward?
So one of my first very early on vision was when before I'd even stepped into the role of being president is I had a vision for how I wanted my presidency to go. And I think that, some of that prep is really important before you step into a role. And so I knew a year before that this would be my journey a year from now. And I had mapped out all of the things that I had hoped to accomplish, had not shared it with anybody yet. I have a notes app and on my phone, and all of my ideas are actually still on there on my notes app. And one of the very, very first things that I did was before we had a board meeting, before we had anything, those who joined and were elected onto the board, we had a dinner, just us, just ourselves, where there was no business being discussed except for welcome to the board. We hope to accomplish great things, but all of us just getting to know each other. The board did not know each other. Many of them had only met each other for the first time that very evening. But the laughs, I tell you, from that first night, I can still remember it. We went to an Indian restaurant. I always, wherever, if I'm involved and we're going to an Indian restaurant, and I'm taking everybody with me. And we went to an Indian restaurant the first year and the second year that our board got elected the second year. And literally, it is just a chance for all of us to get to know each other. So I think setting the
Mhm.
tone that, we are here to accomplish something, but more importantly, I hope that us as a board stay connected, that we stay friends, that if they need something, one of us is there for each other. We come from all different parts of construction. Some
Mhm.
are in the service industry, one is a GC, one is a CEO, some work in the trades and they have subcontracting companies, and they're in marketing or BD, or they're young girls starting out, or they're very seasoned, women who have been in construction industry for 20 to 25 years. So
Mhm.
everybody brings something to the table. And so our vision of keeping everybody motivated was just, hey guys, we're going to be very united on everything we do. We can debate about some of the things that you don't agree with, or how we're doing things or running things, but in the end, let's bring back the focus of what our goal is, and to remain friends in the process. We're all volunteering our time, so if it's not
Yeah,
fun, I think that's when everybody's going to drop off. If when they decide that what they're volunteering for now just isn't fun for them any longer. And what I've found is
agree.
there's a fine balance between fun and accountability. So
Mhm. Oh,
so I think
yeah.
you have to be very delicate with that balance and say, okay, we're going to still keep it fun and lighthearted, but we also have XYZ to accomplish.
Right. We also have
Yeah.
a vision and a mission,
Mm.
Right. Right.
and
That you have to stay true
you
to. Hmm.
volunteered to make that go forward.
Yep. Yep.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so the board is great. We amazing females
I
on the
see
board.
that. I
Yeah.
see that. Every
Yeah.
time I look on your social media, you guys are doing something really fun together, and you've made a
Yeah.
big impact at the same time. Why
Yep.
does it have to be hard work? Right?
It doesn't. It doesn't. And if a collective few, do the work, it's divided amongst everybody. It doesn't have to be, as you said, it doesn't have to be so time consuming. It
Yeah.
doesn't. People just have to commit to doing their part. It's like any
Yeah.
group project, I guess.
True,
Yeah.
true. I mean, that's
Y-
what construction's all about, right?
yeah.
Project management. That's how
Hmm.
buildings get built.
Yeah.
We
It's
can
teams
we
of
can build
people,
nonprofits at the same time, right?
right? Teams
Same
and teams
same
of
way.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
So
we're
can't.
gonna
Go ahead.
keep going,
Oh,
keep
I was
going.
just gonna say, so with camp, it was just a natural extension of getting everybody volunteering, on those days and opening it up to our membership. And nobody knows what goes on behind the scenes to
Yeah.
to run a 4-day camp. Nobody
Yeah.
knows.
Oh my gosh, I
Uh,
can't even imagine.
Yeah. So I identified like a chair this year, Elsa Escamilla. She has done an amazing job of learning it from the ground up alongside with me. And then we enlisted board members to come throughout the week and help take the lead on certain days. And so it was a little bit more shared this year, which is what I felt was like a great keeping them motivated because they have a
Yeah.
purpose within the camp. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's incredibly important. And then, of course, talking about having this camp, the other thing that goes along with it is sponsorships and funding,
Yes.
especially
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
nonprofits or for
Hmm.
even, you know, all kinds of organizations. So, what is the key to successful navigation of sponsorships and funding in this industry for like your camps or anything else that you're doing? And how does securing these resources directly make our industry better? Because I think it's really important that our audience and even outside of our audience understand how important it is to support causes like this.
Mhm.
So I do think If it's a mission that speaks to people, sometimes people just automatically find you.
Mhm.
I can honestly tell you a couple of our sponsorships last year just came, hey, we have money to donate. We just needed to pick somewhere to give it to. And because we believe in women in construction, because we believe in, working with the next generation to teach
Mm.
them about construction, we do want to be a part of it. So those are some of the ones that came a little easier. The second one is, and you guys know this so well, is I think the more you put yourself out there publicly, the more credible you become. So your
Mhm.
personal brand is about attaching
Mhm.
credibility to your name, whether also to your organization's name. So our marketing efforts for NAWIC DC have been pretty strong in the last couple of years. That's the only thing that we outsource. She was a previous board member, and now we outsource her expertise in order to put some of our marketing up. But the more marketing you put up, the more you talk about what you're doing, I think that becomes a credible reason for people to
Mhm.
want to support you. Some of those then also come down to personal relationships with board
Mhm.
members of 12 people on the board now. Somebody has a relationship with somebody else. So that's also key, I think, to group work and teamwork is I can't solely bring in the sponsorships for this organization. We have 12 board members. Who do you know in your network that could possibly give $250? At the end of the day, that's not really a whole lot for
It's
large
not.
companies or small
No.
companies. So
Mhm.
our minimum ask usually is only about $250. We will take less if you need can only give less.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
But
That's a
generally
good
when you
point.
yeah, but generally when you ask for 250, 500, it's not a very large ask. I think so we focus a lot on maybe some smaller asks, and then it builds up, and then we certainly have companies quite like 3 companies this year who have donated at the $5,000 level, and then that becomes super huge to us.
Mm.
But all of the things that we want to do within our board year, really falls under a small range. Although camp, I've kind of calculated it through the years. We've kind of ebbed and flowed and trialed what works and what doesn't work. Camp for about 20 girls for us costs us around $6,000. At the end
Mm.
of the day,
That's
it's
not
not.
bad.
That's not bad. That's not bad. We
No,
keep our
that's
costs really,
really
really low. We
yeah.
partner with a school that doesn't charge us. So we simply just give them our thanks at the end with some gifts at the end that we factor into the cost of the camp. But other than that, it's food. Food in today's
Yeah,
age
yeah.
is probably the number one cost for a lot of things,
Especially
um,
kids too.
especially kids. Yes, so getting food for
They
30,
like to
30 or
eat.
so people for volunteers and the children and the campers every day. So we've been able to really track what we've been spending and just how much do we actually need.
Mhm.
One other large cost that's going to go straight out the door is $10,000 in scholarships. We're
Yeah.
awarding 5 $2,000 scholarships. That honestly isn't a hard ask for these large companies who
No,
really
it's not,
believe
and they
if
do
you
like it.
they love it. And if you feel like if you want to advance women, and then you've got to support them educating themselves, and you've got to support them,
Mhm.
in whatever programs that they're in. So we just had our submissions for scholarship. The winners are getting ready to find out next week.
Oh,
We're going to
that's
have
awesome.
a dinner for them. We're going to have a celebratory awards night for them in August, and it's just great. And some of them are young females just now starting into some sort of education. Some are grown females going back and getting a
Nice.
construction management degree or safety management degree.
So it's
So
for
it's
all
very
ages,
this is for
the
all ages. So
scholarship.
any
Yep,
the
Oh,
scholarship
that's
is for
wow.
all
amazing.
yep. And generally it starts at the college level because at high school things are going to be free,
Yeah,
whatever the kids are
yeah.
taking. So
Mhm.
if they're in any kind of trades program, if they're in any kind of construction related program, they just have to verify that they are in the program currently, and
Mhm.
have some references for that. And that's it. They can apply to our
That's a
scholarship,
big
and
deal.
yeah,
That
and we
is a
award
big
Yeah.
10,000. So when you
Yeah.
tell people, "Hey, we don't need money for us. We don't need it necessarily to have a golf event. I don't need you to
Right.
sponsor a golf event. We need the money to give to a
These
female who's trying
kids.
to make
Mhm.
it work."
Oh, well,
Yes.
all
Yeah.
females, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
all females. Yep.
That's
Yep.
awesome. So one of the things that you just hit on, I think is important for us to talk about, the events, right? Like we don't ask money for events, but doing something for these females that are going into construction, that's an easy ask, right? But
Mhm.
one of the things that I think we all face as
Mhm.
leaders is when we walk away from our office or the job site, we expect the event that we're going to be valuable, impactful, and to be, to make sure it delivers what we need, or we don't do it. We've got way too many things on our plate, right? So how do you approach the creative networking spaces and the mentorship opportunities and the events that genuinely matter and offer a lot of value to women in the trades. So you just hit on a couple of them. So, but
Right.
I know you're doing more because I
We
watched.
do more. Yep, we
Yeah.
definitely do more.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
So one of them also, this is another form of sponsorship, is companies will just host a coffee and chat for us. It's free for anybody, members and non-members. So the company just, serves a little bit of pastries and coffee in the morning, and they provide us a space for all of us to gather and network. And that's really, really valuable. I now have people coming to me and say, hey, when's the next one scheduled? I told my colleague about it. I want to bring it to her. So now we're like rushing to put things on the calendar. The second one is a series I created called Breakfast with a Champion, and we make that very affordable. It's often at a host company's office as well, and it's only $50 for non-members and free for our members. And that's something really easy where they hear somebody's story. Often she's a leader in her company, or somebody who's had a long tenure, and she talks about her story from the journey up. And it's been an event that's really, really impactful to all of our audience that's ever attended. The other things, now we did do a fun golf event, and we did get a couple of sponsors for that.
Good.
But we also say deals are made on the golf course, and so it's
True.
often females. They want to learn the skill of golf, and so we generally provide a workshop where they are learning the skill of golf. It's not just a golf tournament, although we may grow into that, because the more females that come and play, the more we just show the men. Yep. The more they learn, the more we show the men, hey, we're here too. We can compete as well. So we try to balance some of the fun, larger cost ones, which are few and far in between, with the coffee and chats and the breakfast with a champion. I believe we had a yoga event also that was very successful, and had a yoga. Yeah, we did that during Women in Construction Week. We also try to have job site tours. So a company is often hosting that as well. So it's just honestly anywhere where you can gather an easy space for people to come together, make it as inclusive as possible. We've all been to those organization events where there's 1,000 people, you walk in, you have no idea who to talk to, or you just gravitate towards the few people and you end up being, in a clique. You end up being, just stuck to those people and don't really branch out. So what we hope to do, we always say that why NAWIC? If somebody were to choose us, it's because we offer those really small but deeper connections. When you come, you're meeting everybody in the room because there's only 30 or 40 people, and people are working the room. They're meeting everybody and they're making connections. They're connecting people with different people. I always say this: we had somebody on our board and she volunteered at Camp NAWIC. There was another volunteer at Camp NAWIC they had never met before. 3 months later, she has a new job that she's still with that. She's still with
and
that
that's
company.
how that works, right? That's how that works.
Yeah.
If it's working right.
Yes.
That's how you've been creative. And honestly, I may have to steal some of these ideas. But
I want a yoga event.
I know you do. So our next Women in Construction event is going to look like yoga. I could see Angela's eyes, stars in her eyes came out. So
it's funny what yoga and wine brings out. Like a lot of girls, a lot of and men, a lot of men and women sign up for that.
Really,
so
that's very cool.
Interesting.
That's very cool.
At least in the DC area. At least in the DC.
Well, I was going to say, we just had a board member say that he was going to hot yoga not long ago. So it matters, right? We're just trying to take care of ourselves. The construction industry is very demanding, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. If you can find a place to move and kind of relieve some stress, it's a very good thing for you to do. We just got off a podcast talking about mental health, and that's the best way you can do it, right? So we are running out of time, but I wanted to make sure that you let everybody know that's listening to the podcast how to get a hold of you. If they want to support you, sponsor you, maybe ask you questions about your journey, just let everyone know how to get in touch with you before we close off.
Sure. So the best one is LinkedIn. Just come and connect with me there, DM me there, and I will definitely respond back to you. It's under Libby M. I believe that's how you can find me. And happy to connect with anybody who wants to talk more about construction, women in construction, NAWIC camp, Angela and Christi, whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm happy to answer any questions and be supportive to anybody. Thank
And
you.
to our listeners, she's an excellent speaker. If you ever
Yes.
need a speaker to really inspire the women in your company or kids that are listening and wanting to be mentored or just wanting to learn more about our industry, she's an excellent speaker. We
Thank
really
you.
glad to have her here.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. I really enjoyed this and seeing you guys again. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Libby.